30th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorrah.
So. Okay, so Phil's not here today. Not yet.
Yeah, Tuesday might be his day that he goes to the hospital with his wife.
Ah,
I'm not sure, but I think Tuesday might be the day.
okay. Tuesday. Oh, did they just go in every Tuesday?
Yeah, I don't know what the story is, but she has some kind of a condition.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Shleima.
Amen.
You know her name?
I don't. No, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't queried much. I just ask him how she's doing every once in a while, and he says she's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay.
I found out I should put it in the newsletter. Maybe I'll ask him if he wants me to put it in the newsletter.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
I'm here. Sorry about being late. We had a call about doctors and things, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it'll do.
I forgive you with a whole heart.
What? Oh, you
Forgive you with a whole heart.
Oh, thank you. That's you. What about the rabbi?
Me too.
All
I
right.
second the motion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, we're trying to get here as soon as we can. Okay.
So
Everybody's trying. All right. So we are I'm just trying to figure out over here in this case that we're on whether we have done the Rashis that up to the place that we've learned in the Gemorrah yet.
yeah, the last Rashi, I know the last Rashi we did was Dala Meis Haben B'chai Haba Ha'av Ta'asu Liad Haben. I think.
Right. Oh, that's the last one? Okay.
I think.
Lo Beis Haben B'chai Ha'av Ta'asu Liad Haben.
But I can't see where it is in the Gemorrah. I think it's a bit different in the wording. I can see some of the words in the Gemorrah, but not that whole phrase. I can't find it.
So the reason why you can't find that is because we haven't seen that in the Gemorrah yet. I see these exact words in the Gemorrah further on.
Oh, so maybe we haven't done that.
We have not done this part yet.
So maybe the Gemara before it, the Rashi before we did.
Yeah, Bechurin Ad Shiamos, we have seen that in the Gemorrah. Right. If the father sells the property, so it's Mechurin Ad Shiamos. It's sold successfully to the purchaser Ad Shiamos until the father passes away. And this that the sale is successful. It's successful as far as the peros of the property are concerned, because that's all the father has to sell. So when he sells his property, that's all he's selling, because the Karen of the property, the body, the corpus, whatever you want to, different words for calling it, that he already deeded over to his son. And Rashi said that took place mehayom, because that was the language that he used. It's a what they call a living, I don't know if you want to call it living will or whatever. According to the words of the document, the transfer of the goof of the karka is already on the day of the giving of the document. That's what Rashi said. Shaguf koni leben mehayom. Ela sha'av ochel aperos ad yomoso. But the father held back for himself the right to the usage of the property and the profits that the property would generate for the duration of his lifetime. That's the case. Okay, so but this next Rashi, the lo me saben b'chaye av, the osu. Oh, that's what we said. That's what we said. We haven't seen that yet. We have not seen that yet. So let's go from. Okay, so we last thing we said yesterday was that the last line of the Gemorrah that we quoted was Kimesa av miha is le lilokeach. Okay, we see where that is. No.
Yeah, it's on 88B1, right-hand column, top of the page.
So this was Rabbi Yirmiyah, or Abba. He's the first judge of the case that ruled in the case that was presented to him, that the son should be able to take the property, that and not the husband. And then he quoted this Mishnah with the father deeding his property in his lifetime to his son and holding back the peros of the property for himself during his lifetime. And then Rabbi Yirmiyah himself said on this Mishnah these words, Kimeis av miha isle lokeach. But we see the inference from the Mishnah is that if the father, when the father does in fact pass away, so then miha, however, isle lokeach, the lokeach will now have the property completely, right? Completely, even the peros, because that's what the father owned while he was still alive. And the point that Rabbi Yirmiyah wants to say is the next phrase of this sentence. Afogav de mesa ben b'chaye av de lo osu lidei haben. And this will even be in the case where the son passed away in the lifetime of the father. Remember this, we're talking about a case where the son in his lifetime, he sold his interest in the property to a third party, to a purchaser, a lokeach. So we're saying that even if the son would pass away before the father passed away, that won't prevent the lokeach from taking the property entirely. So even in that case, in other words, where the property didn't pass from the father to the son, such that the lokeach can now receive it from the son who sold it to him. It's not coming by way of the son. The purchaser's right to the property is not coming by way of the son. He sold him the property, but he does not have to survive the father in order for the purchaser to still get the whole property, even the Paris of the property. And I'll say this, that would even be the case if the father sold the Paros of the property himself to a third party. So in other words, this third party is going to prevail over that third party. The third party of the son is going to prevail over the third party purchaser of the father. Third party purchaser of the son is going to be the one who's going to get the whole property, the Karen and the Peros. That's what Yermi Bar Abba wants to learn out from this Mishnah. And that's, now we're going to go further. We all said that yesterday. And now we're going to go further with the Gemorrah. So we're going to start today from Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lou, you want to start us off?
Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, like Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Da'amar, that he said, Lo shna meis haben b'chaye ha'av. It doesn't make any difference if the son dies during the lifetime of the father. Delo asu lidei de ben, that it did not come into the hand of the son. Lo shna meis ha'av b'chaye haben. Neither does it matter if the father dies in the life of the son. The first case was when the son died in the life of the father. Second one is father dies in the life of the son. De asu li de ben, that it came into the hand of the son. So the father died during the life of the son, and therefore the son now becomes the owner
Of the Peros of the property.
Well, of everything.
Well, he already had the Karen.
Right. Okay. Kana lokach, the buyer has acquired.
The buyer from the son will acquire these Peros.
Whether
as well as
it's the son who dies
whole
or the
property,
father
too.
dies first.
I suppose.
I'm sorry, what? I missed your last sentence.
This that it says over here, Kana lokeach, the lokeach acquires, means not only the Peros, but also the Karen of the property.
Right.
Because because really the son owned the Karen of the property from day one, and he owns the Peros of the property from the time that the father passed away, but not before.
Right.
So the issue over here is, how is this purchaser from the father? No, sorry, strike that completely. How is the purchaser from the son going to get both the Karen of the property and also the Peros of the property? So over here, um, we're saying that it he's going to get both. The purchaser from the son is going to get both parts of the property. Both parts of the property he's going to get. Kana lokeach, he's getting both of them, and we're saying it doesn't make any difference whether the son passes away before the father or the father passes away first. In either case, the lokeach is going to get the whole thing. He's going to get the whole property, both parts of the property.
And in either case, the father has to pass away before he gets the property. Correct?
Which part of the property are you referring to? The father only owned at this point, after having deeded the property to his son and holding back the profits of the property. The only thing that the father owns in the property now is the profits.
Right. So the buyer already owns the Karen. Correct?
If the son sold him the Karen of the property, then yes, just like the father sold the son the Karen, and he's got the Karen. I would say that, and the father doesn't have any interest in the Karen right now. I don't think that he would be able to stop the son from selling the Karen of the property to a third party. The only issue that we're talking about here is the payros of the property. That's that's only going to take effect once the father passed away. But when he does pass away, we're saying that this purchaser from the son who purchased the property, he's going to now at that point, the fact that the son passed away before the father is not going to cut out the purchaser of the son. The purchaser from the son is going to get the whole property, even though he's not getting it by way of, even though he's not getting the payros by way of the son. The father stays on the property. The son passed away already, but that doesn't mean that this purchaser from the son is not going to also get the payros from the property. And I say that even in the event that the father sold his interest in the payros of the property to a third party.
So at the time that the son dies, the purchaser does not become the owner of the payros because the father is still alive.
Right. The father owns the payros as long as he's alive.
But when the father dies, then the purchaser becomes the owner of the payros because the son sold it to him way back when.
Right. That's right. And the father did not have any more in the father didn't have payros forever. He didn't permanently keep the payros in his possession. He kept the payros in his possession for his lifetime.
Now, in the first case, where the father dies before the son, as soon as the father dies, then the purchaser becomes the owner of the payros. Correct?
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
In the case where the father predeceases the son,
right,
as soon as the father passes away, the purchaser becomes the owner of the produce.
In other words, the son sold the property to a third party.
and the father was alive. So the third party doesn't get the produce because the father's alive and the father owns the produce.
Right.
So then when the father dies, I'm presuming that at that point, the purchaser becomes the owner of the produce.
Right. When
So
the father,
in both cases,
right.
that whether the father goes first or the son goes first,
right.
the seminal event is the father going. Once the father goes, the purchaser becomes the owner of the produce.
Oh, so interesting. So what you're pointing out, Lou, is that, right. I think so. I think so. Yeah. That's what we said. Mochra Ben, the Ben sells. Yeah. Right. Right. I'm understanding the Mishnah was talking about when it says that the Ben sold, Mochra Ben, he sold everything outright to this third party. Not only his interest in the Karen, but also his whole interest in the Karen, which takes effect right now, and in the Peros, which will take effect when the father passed away. So even if when the father passed away, so then now at that point, this purchaser, he'll own also the Peros, right? Right. Even though the son is still alive, because the son sold it to this third party.
Okay, so that handles our understanding of the Peros. Now I want to understand the principle, the Karen.
Yeah.
So it says in the Mishnah, it says, Ein lo lelokeach ad shiamus ha'av.
Right.
And my English translates it as the buyer has nothing until the father dies.
Well, that means it really should say, the translation should really be, the Lokeach doesn't have anything in the Peros.
Okay.
Until the father dies.
Yeah, because the word nothing doesn't appear actually in the Hebrew. It just says ein lo. Okay, I wanted to clarify that. So he does have the Karen at that time, at that point.
Yeah.
It's only the Peros that we're talking about that has to move after the sale happens.
Yeah. That's how I'm understanding it until somebody says, until Rashi or somebody says otherwise. That's how I'm interpreting what it says. Mochra Ben. He sold the whole. He sold everything that he has to this Lokeach.
Right. Yeah, I see the problem of the translator. What word could you stick in there? If you take out the word nothing, you can't put. There's no word. That's why he translated it that way.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
There is not to him until the father dies. There's not what to him. You got to stick in an extra word somehow. So we want to stick in the word Karen. I mean, Peros. Peros. We want to say the buyer has no payroll, has no fruit.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. I got it.
Okay. So so that's so then we said that what Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba is saying is the same, that doesn't make a difference who goes first, like Lou was describing, That's the same thing we find in the words of Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. He said exactly the same words. Doesn't matter. Lo shno. Okay. And now we don't have any Rashi, so we're going to go further in the Gemorrah, and we're going to go to the Itmar. The Itmar. Alan, you want to read the Itmar? Please.
Where is it on the page?
It is on 88B1, the right-hand column, and it's halfway down. The Gemorrah continues its interruption.
Oh, it is, right, okay. The Gemorrah continue its interruption by citing the context of Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish's ruling. The Gemorrah was stated regarding the last case of the aforementioned Mishnah, Mochar Habain B'chaye Bo'od Umeis Habain B'chaye Bo'od. If the son sold the property during the father's lifetime, and the son died during the father's lifetime, Rabbi Yochanan or Marlo, Kono Lo Keach, Rabbi Yochanan said that the buyer does not acquire the property upon the father's death.
Wow.
Or Mar Kana Lo Keach, Rish Lekish, Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says that the buyer acquires the property upon the father's death.
Okay, so we see here we have a machlekes on this very point. If the son sold the property, like it says in the Mishnah, Machra ben b'chaye av, Umeis haben b'chaye av, and then the son goes first. In fact, is a machlokes over here. Seems like it's that's the case that the Mishnah described. That according to Rabbi Yochanan, that now cuts out the lokeach from this son. So what we're saying is only going according to Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish amar kona lokeach. The lokeach will acquire.
I have a footnote that quotes the Rashbam.
Yeah.
Says when the father dies, the property passes to the father's heirs. Now, I don't know when it says property here, does it mean Karen or Peros? I would assume it means Peros.
Oh.
This would be would this be then when the father doesn't when there was no what do you call it, no shtar from the father bequeathing the property. This is just when the father dies and there's no document.
Well, there's the document where the son sold it to the third party.
Yeah, well, so this is not referring to it just in a plain case.
Well, wait a second. No, there's two documents because it says, the Mishnah says, one writes over his property to his son.
I would
For
I
after
think
his
that
death.
Mhm.
So that's like a will, right? He says, I'm writing this property to my son that he should own it after I pass away.
No, but we have to remember, we saw that Rashi explained that it doesn't mean like that. Rashi explained the words la'achar moso in the second Rashi on the page.
Right.
See, what the Rashi clarifies that what the Mishnah means is that the father was selling the property mehayom ula achar moso. He was selling, and then Rashi goes on to explain that what does that mean? That he was selling the property from today and also after he passes away. What does that mean? That's a contradiction in itself. Are you selling it now, or are you selling it only after you pass away? It's a contradiction. So Rashi says that no, that what this means is how it's interpreted is that the goof is konoi to the ben mehayom. The son gets the corpus, the keren, principle of the property mehayom, from the day that he gave this deed over to his son. Ella, and that's what it means, mehayom. He's selling the keren of the property mehayom. So the son gets the keren of the property mehayom, today. Ella, but Rashi said, ha'av ochel haperos ad yom moso. The when it says ula achar moso, it means to say, and the son will receive also the peros of the property after the father passes away. But in the father's lifetime, he will own the peros of the property.
There's a footnote that agrees with what you just said. It says it's clarifying Reish Lakish position, and it says that is, he takes title at the time of the sale and acquires the rights to the produce when the father dies. But my point to Roy's question is that there are two documents here. There's a document that the father wrote saying, I give you the property now and after I die, which we just discussed. And then there's the son wrote a document where he sold the property to the third party.
Right.
So this is definitely a well-documented situation.
Okay. But what I wanted to say was that this machlokes that the Gemorrah is bringing over here between Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, the way I'm understanding this, without having looked at the Gemorrah in Bava Basra, that this machlokes appears, and it's explained over there by the Rashbam. But it seems to me that what they're arguing about is only in regard to the peros.
Yes, I agree.
But but if Rashi is explaining what it says in the Mishnah, that the father said mehayom, so then the keren of the property was already the son's on mehayom, on day one. So I don't think that makes a difference, that if the son, even to Rabbi Yochanan, it doesn't make a difference that even if the son passes away before the father, that he's not going to get that property. He already got the property in his lifetime. He already got it. So the property, if the son is going to pass away before the father, it's not going to go to the it's going to go to the inheritors of the son. And what the machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish is, in the case where the son passes away before the father, they're arguing about what happens with the peros. because the Peiros, even though the father wrote the document before the son passed away, which gave the son the right to the Peiros after the father passes away, but only according to but that's what they're arguing about. According to Rabbi Yochanan, if the son was not alive at the time that the father was alive, the son passed away before the father, so he's not going to get those. He's not going to get the lokeach. The lokeach is not going to get those peros.
So I would ask Rabbi Yochanan, if the son were alive, then he clearly would get the peros. Now that he's dead, he doesn't get the peros. Why? How does the fact that the son died change the law as concerns the transfer of the produce?
Yeah, that's that we would have to take a look. In this Gemorrah in Baba Basra.
What page is it on? Let's see. It's Daf Hey.
Daf Hey? No, I don't think so.
Oh, no, that's Dibra Hamaskil. What
Right.
daf is it?
It should be. It should tell you the daf before it tells you the Dibra Maskil.
Right. But it doesn't seem to say what it is.
Maybe they already quoted the daf when they quoted this Gemorrah in Baba Basra previously in this section.
Yeah, Baba Basra 136a.
Okay, that sounds right. 136a.
136A, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's in the very beginning of the page in the Mishnah.
Okay, Kosev Nechosev Lebonov, Sorek Shifto Me'ayom Ula Achabisa, Diva Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosu Emer, Ain't sorry. He says you don't need. Kosev Nechosev Lebnoi La Achamoso Ha'av, Ain't Och Yochol Limkom, Ipnei Shehen Ksuvin Leben, but Ben Ain't Yochol Limkom, Ipnei Shehen Brushus Ha'av. Mochra Av, Mochurin Ad Shiamos. Mochra Ben Ain't Lelokeach Behen Klum, Ad Shiamos Ha'av. So that's really the case that our Gemorrah is bringing over here. That's the case that Rabbi Yirmiyah brought. Kosev nechasav lebno la'achamoso. Okay, so that's what it says. Mochra ben ein lelokeach behen klum ad shiamosa av. So this is a Mishnah. So,
Apparently, this is all explained by the Rashbam, according to my footnotes.
yeah. Mochra ben b'chaya.
I've got like 8 footnotes that all quote the Rashbam.
Mhm. Now, I would assume that this machlekes between the Rish Lakish and the Rabbi Yochanan appears somewhere here in this sugya.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the section starts at the bottom of the page after the 2 dots, the last line of the page. Hakosev nechosev lebno la'achamoso. So it says over here, Itmar. Mochra ben b'chaya av, umesa ben b'chaya av. That's our statement over here, Itmar.
Right.
Rabbi Yochanan lo kona, lo keach. Rish Lakish amar kona lo keach. So
Again, there's a footnote that quotes the Rashbam.
it goes to the בדברי המשנה של האחר מיסוס, האב זוכר בהם הלוקח לגמרי, אין זה אלא באופן שבש"ס מיסוס האב עדיין היה הבן קיים. So the way I'm understanding this, Lou, is that Rabbi Yochanan will say to you as follows: even though our Mishnah says that the father that sells it to the son, and it says Mochra ben, when the son sells it, ein lelokeach behen klum ad shemos ha'av, the lokeach will not have anything until the father dies. And here Rabbi Yochanan is saying the lokeach is not going to be koina at all. The Rabbi Yochanan will say that the Mishnah is talking only in the event that at the time of the father's death, the son was still alive.
It's interesting. It says the word klum.
Right. That means, right,
Oh.
klum. Nothing at all.
So that contradicts what we've been understanding. We were understanding that the buyer became the owner of the principal when the sale happened. And in the wording in our Mishnah, it was consistent because it didn't say klum. But here, since it says klum, the buyer has no share in them at all. But I have another footnote that's interesting. Over on 136b, where it says, Rav Yochanan said the buyer does not acquire ownership of produce. Because he says ownership of produce is tantamount to the ownership of the property's essence. That's Rav Yochanan's position. I'm not sure why that matters, though. We still have the fact that the father said, when I die, you get it. But that seems to be the essence of the machlokas based on the top of 136b. Because Rav Yochanan says owning the produce is tantamount to owning everything. And Reish Lakish says owning the produce is not tantamount to ownership of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where the it's on this long Rashbam on Ahmed Base. First one, he says this over here.
Right. Yeah, I have lengthy footnotes here.
Yeah. This is there's a lot of Rashbam over here.
Oh, and our time is over. Way over.
Okay.
So maybe I'll try and find some time to read footnotes on Bava Basra. Oh, I won't be able to do that because it's my son's birthday tonight. So I guess we'll just have to talk about it more tomorrow.
So a little about 3 o'clock, right?
3 o'clock, Yimutz Hashem. Yeah, be ready, please, because we'll be in a
Yeah, I
rush.
will. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.